Students, आज we are taking the topic logic, which is a kind of philosophical topic for Organon. The simple meaning of logic is reasoning, means finding out the why it happened. What is the procedure? Actually finding out the cause and its effect, the relationship between the cause and effect. Right? So logic is finding out the relationship between cause and effect. Okay? This is the simple understanding. Now we'll take it forward. How many types of logic are there? So logic is of two types. Types of logic are two. One is inductive, second one is deductive. Now, inductive logic was given by Lord Bacon. This is a very important name who has helped us in understanding logic, because of whom we have made lot of scientific approach, because to find out any scientific fact we need logic. The second one is deductive logic. Now the main difference between us, inductive logic, in inductive logic we do the observation of fact. We actually do proper observation of the facts to understand the data. Like simply whatever the situation has happened, we will try to understand that by observing, a proper observation, just simple observation, and then understanding and collecting the data, and finally coming out with some outcome that this is why it might have happened. That is giving a logical explanation, right? Like many a times we use in our conversation that what is logic in your thought? What is the logic? What is the proof that it will going to be happen? So this is the simplest meaning of logic. Second one is, this was inductive logic. Now if we talk about deductive logic is whatever we have understood and what we found the conclusion, the final product, the conclusion, that when whatever we have derived is known as deductive logic. Okay, so how it all started, how logic was understood at that time, especially in the field of medicine. So let me put it in that way, that there were a lot of haphazard practices in medicine which was going on. There was no proper understanding, there was no scientific reason, but because somebody was using it, somebody might have got results with it. Some beliefs were there, religious connections were found out, and with innumerate lot of numbers. This was no reasoning but just hypothetical understanding. People were practicing medicines and giving it to the patients. One of the main name here is Galen, which you should remember, was a physician in Europe. He had great power and influence in European medicines. So nobody could dare to question anything. The methods that were set by him for medicine practice, people were following it blindly. No one could even question this way of practices, which were, many of them were not scientific, even for many years after the death of Galen as well. So Galen के मर जाने के बाद भी काफ़ी वक्त तक उसी की दी हुई थियोरीज और उसी की दी हुई वेज ऑफ प्रैक्टिस में लोग मेडिसिन्स देते रहे. काफ़ी टाइम तक किसी ने कोई क्वेश्चन नहीं किया, राइट? सो गैलन ने जो दिया था वो कुछ ठीक था, कुछ जस्ट ऐसे ही था, बट वो चल रहा था. आफ्टर दैट, इन लेटर टाइम ऑफ 16th century, second half of 16th century, there came a time where people started giving or asking for scientific explanation. a majority of people started, thinking about the connection that is logical. They were just, it was an era where the consciousness of the people were rising. That was the time Lord Bacon in England was giving or thinking or working on basic understanding of humans, or doing a great work on human understanding. He has also written one book, Novum Organum, which is also dealing with this kind of understanding process and a basically logical thing. So science is also nothing but reasoning. It is also known as scientific spirit. So see, this is up till now the basic understanding of logic. So if you are asked the question about logic, what is logic? So you can write about the definition or meaning of logic. It is simple finding out the why. It has just we find here with the logic the relationship between the cause and effect. There are two types of logic: inductive logic, deductive logic. You have to explain what is inductive logic, what is deductive logic. We can also give an idea about 16th century, the later part, how logic started developing. Okay, how logic started developing. So before that there was a time of Galen and all these stories. Then 16th century, then we can think about Lord Bacon. He was constantly working on it. He has also published one book known as Novum Organon, means a new kind of literary work. We know that meaning of organon is literally work. Novum is something new, right? So this is how the overall everywhere the thinking process started. Now what do we do with the logic? Let's take that part.